The world burns, not always with flames, but with fury. The protagonist stands in the center of it all. Protests echo in the streets, headlines scream, relationships fracture, and the air itself feels heavy with tension. But they do not flinch. They do not rage. They breathe. The Stoic does not deny the fire, they simply refuse to become it. They do not mirror the madness. They meet it with stillness. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The protagonist knows this. The chaos outside is not theirs to control. But the chaos within, that is their domain. They do not run. They do not fight. They observe. And in that observation, they reclaim their power. The world may burn, but the Stoic remains unburned. The protagonist retreats, not to escape, but to reflect. In solitude, they find clarity. The noise of the world fades, and the voice of reason grows louder. They journal. They meditate. They ask, what is mine to change? What must I release? The Stoic does not act from impulse. They act from insight. Seneca reminds us, no man was ever wise by chance. Wisdom is earned, in silence, in struggle, in stillness. The protagonist studies the fire, not to fear it, but to understand it. They do not react, they respond. And their response is rooted in reason, not rage. The protagonist returns, not with answers, but with presence. They walk among the angry, the afraid, the lost. They do not preach. They embody. Their calm is contagious. Their silence speaks. They are not above the world, they are within it, but not of it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. The Stoic does not argue. They act. They do not seek to win debates, they seek to live truth. And in doing so, they become a mirror for others. A reminder that peace is possible, even here. The fire spreads. Injustice. Betrayal. Loss. The protagonist feels it all, but they are not consumed. They grieve, but do not despair. They mourn, but do not collapse. They understand that suffering is part of the human contract. To live is to hurt. But to live well is to hurt wisely. Epictetus said, difficulties show men what they are. The Stoic welcomes the test. Not because they enjoy pain, but because they know it reveals character. The fire strips away illusion. What remains is essence. And in that essence, the Stoic finds strength. The protagonist is tempted to lash out, to give in, to abandon the path. But they remember, anger is easy. Wisdom is earned. They feel the heat of their own emotions rising, but they do not let it rule them. They pause. They breathe. They choose. Seneca warned, anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. The Stoic does not deny anger. They transmute it into courage, into clarity, into action that heals, not harms. They become the alchemist of their own fire. The world demands reaction. The Stoic offers reflection. While others shout, they listen. While others accuse, they inquire. While others divide, they unite. This is not weakness. It is discipline. It is the strength to remain human in an inhuman hour. Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. The Stoic does not mimic the madness. They model the medicine. They do not escalate, they de-escalate. They do not dominate, they dignify. And in doing so, they become a quiet revolution. The protagonist acts, not from fear, but from principle. They speak when it serves. They are silent when it heals. They do not seek applause. They seek alignment. Their compass is not popularity, it is virtue. And virtue does not waver in the wind. Epictetus reminds us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. The Stoic has decided. They will be a light, a guide, a presence of peace. And so they act, not to be seen, but to serve. Not to impress, but to embody. The protagonist is wounded, betrayed, misunderstood. But they do not harden. They soften. Not in weakness, but in wisdom. They know that bitterness is a second wound. And they refuse to carry it. They forgive, not for others, but for their own freedom. Seneca wrote, "To forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover the prisoner was you." The Stoic chooses freedom. They release the grudge. They release the story. They release the need to be right. And in that release, they rise. The world does not change overnight. The fire still burns. But the Stoic no longer fears it. They walk through it, not untouched, but unshaken. They have become fireproof, not by resisting the flame, but by becoming the flame that purifies, not destroys. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The Stoic sees the fire not as an obstacle, but as a forge. And in that forge, they are made whole. The protagonist teaches, not with words, but with presence. They become a living question. What if peace is possible? What if strength is silent? What if the fire is not the end, but the beginning? They do not demand followers. They inspire leaders. Epictetus taught, "Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it." The Stoic becomes the embodiment. A walking stillness. A breathing truth. A quiet force. And in their wake, others begin to remember that they, too, can choose. That they, too, can stand. The fire fades. Or perhaps it doesn't. But the Stoic remains. Not because the world is safe, but because they are steady. They have faced the world on fire, and found the fire within. Not the fire of rage, but the fire of resolve. The fire of virtue. The fire of peace. Seneca reminds us, as is a tale, so is life, not how long it is, but how good it is. The Stoic's tale is not long. But it is good. And in its quiet glow, others find their way. The world may burn again. But now, it will not burn alone. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and comment on what topics you would like us to talk about next.